Timer just expired, but we were just about getting into games, so we haven't missed anything or anything. Just taking a moment or two to check on something. We are ready for our grand finals of today, a best of 5 TVP. Q ShoWTimE is actually a really fun matchup for me. I remember casting Katowice qualifiers one time and ShoWTimE getting like proxy battlecruiser rushed, and I think the time I remember these two playing most of all was the Team Liquid map contest tournament. ShoWTimE won against Q in an epic grand final. It was an awesome best of 7, and yeah, just in general excited to see Q and ShoWTimE coming through for some more StarCrafts here today. In the bottom right hand corner, we're going to start off with the red Terran player. This is Q as we enter this grand final. In the top left, our blue Protoss player. This is ShoWTimE. You almost bet. You can bet if you want slowly. I can close the bets after. It's all good. Bet away. Oh, I'm on stream delay, so you won't hear this in time. Never mind. Ha ha ha. I'm only on 30-second stream delay. It's like the slowest. It's like the smallest stream delay of all time. It's almost like they said 30 seconds. And I almost thought they were joking, but they were like, no, it's 30 seconds. I was like, oh, like for real? Huh. Probe coming down to the bottom right side. Barracks is coming into play. Gateway on the other side as well. And we just have ourselves a probe scout to start off with here, as we get ourselves a game number 1 of this finals. I'm actually very excited. ShoWTimE looked very good against Ryung, but Q's TVP has looked so good lately. But I feel like ShoWTimE's one of the very best when it comes to defensive PvTs, and I feel like that will be sometimes necessary in this situation. So I'm kind of down for this, man. Kind of down for this. I'm very excited to see what comes down between the two. What kind of stars ShoWTimE's going to bring out. I mean, I wonder if ShoWTimE across the best of 5 is going to play much different from the Phoenix Colossus he's been setting up for so far. Marine just going to work out. Moving into the center of the map. Factory is coming up. And we just have ourselves the reactor, factory, CC, all of this on the way. Nexus building from ShoWTimE. The Adept's halfway through. The Stargate is beginning. No surprises about a Stargate-based opening from ShoWTimE, as I was kind of saying, was just expecting that to be kind of the go-to here in the early stages. Get that on the way. 30 seconds can almost hold real conversations. Yeah, honestly, I mean, 30 seconds to me is like nothing. It doesn't feel like... You know, there is a magical point. I think it's 2 minutes. 2 minutes is when it feels like there's a delay. 90 seconds isn't so bad. Like, 90 seconds is very doable. Like, I wouldn't say you can have a conversation, right? But you can relate to what chat was talking about 90 seconds ago. When you have 2 minute delay, it's very hard to remember what chat's on about, what happened 2 minutes ago. It's really weird, but there's like something about that 30-second difference that really does make a difference, you know? So yeah, it's something funky about that. As a few Marines sending the natural, a couple more Marines coming over. The Adept is gonna think about maybe shitting onto that. Oracle continues out. The Warp Gate is coming through, and a couple of Adepts still trying to go after that Hellion. Hellion gets away into the main base though, and the Oracle is going to turn around, looking to get the Hellion, but does not manage it. Now the Hellion wants to try and get some damage, but yeah, won't get much done. Full Scout, Adept in the main base, Full Scout as well, killed by a Widow Mine, but I would say the scouting is obviously pretty notable to begin with anyway. As Widow Mine now escapes off to the side, the Medivac going to boost across into the natural, and the Oracle trying to get into the main base, but the Marines are there to turn that Oracle around in pretty much an instant, so that gets pushed out immediately, and the Oracle then back into the center of the map. Obviously with a Cyclone coming up, it's going to become harder and harder for this Oracle to truly come into play here. Two Oracles, now building that one Phoenix. This is what he did last time before eventually going Colossus and then adding on more Phoenix further down the line. Engineering Bay getting caught in that revelation as well. And just seeing our gateway coming up on the main base. Again, that gateway up and running. Twilight Council, Robo Facility, all still coming out. Well, again, Twilight and Robo still just coming up, and seeing a couple of gates, Robo Facility, all of that coming through for the moment. Probes coming in. Impact +1. Combat Shield. That'll be fun, because you know what Kyo always does is he always plays this kind of split army eventually as well, and I do feel like that's something what ShoWTimE style should be able to deal with at least a fairly reasonable amount. It just, like I say, it's just a battle between someone who's been very good lately versus someone who's been not so hot lately. As a Wooden Mine goes off, Phoenix taking damage, Oracles taking a little bit of damage as well. Fire starts to move out. The Oracle's ready to come back in on the bottom side once again. Cyclone. Oh, that's a dead Oracle, right? Yeah, high ground vision wasn't in time before the Cyclone shot its shot. It will then still connect in that scenario. Big push up the left-hand side. And there's Raven taking a couple of shots. Bio still coming up to the top as well. Well, big attack in. Cyclone locking onto the Phoenix. Going to see the anti-armor missile striking. That's going to be a pretty big deal as we jump on forward. The depths and everything continue to take some damage here. Disruptor shot coming through. Doesn't land on anything at all. The Zealots getting turned away. Can we actually, what do we do now? Obviously dive up. We're going to deny the Robo. Probably kill that Disruptor. Is this too much of a chase in, or is this going to be alright? Couple Zealots keep on going down. More Zealots still coming out. The Phoenix are going to start getting nuked as well. Disruptor shot kind of goes in the middle of nothing. Not exactly ideal, and just seeing our Bioforce trying to fight back. It's not going to be enough at all. Cure just gets the win on the first stim in. Well, the X in the bottom left-hand side is going to be our blue Terran player. Team NV, but also Abydos, and I don't really know anymore. It's Cure. And he's up 1 in this best of 5 final of the Kung Fu Cup. Top right, our red Protoss player is ShoWTimE. As we get our second map underway, probe, gateway, getting established, and away we go. Away we go. ShoWTimE just needs a better defense to start with, right? That's what we're looking for. First of all, that's going to be the most important part of this. Get that defense going and kind of working from there. Wardy sleeping? No, Wardy was reading an email for a moment, just as we got into the game. Sponsorship email. They want us to play a game, and then we turn the money into StarCraft tournament. All that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool. Now, we're going to be playing, this weekend, we're going to be playing EVE Online. Which I think is a game a lot of people should be fairly familiar with, or at least heard of before, because it's a pretty darn old game. Even I've heard of it. They just sent me a little bit of info about what they need me to do ahead of that, and I was like, okay. Because I'm this kind of person where I saw the email, it grabbed my attention, like I just can't not read it. It's dumb, I just can't not read it if I'm, you know, if we're just at the start of the game and nothing's going on, like my attention's too grabbed by it, you know. So yeah, just reading an email, being quiet through the first couple moments. Unbelievable, huh? Unbelievable. Cure has always been a nut in this matchup. What does a nut mean? like nutty? Like he's been like really good? You'd like to see a caster tournament or SC2 casters qualify to battle it out? It's been done before, mate. They're not very fun. And they're especially not very fun to play in because everyone's just at different skill levels. Pretty much, the group stage was like 2 players that were definitely going to lose and 2 players that would definitely go through. And then the round of 8s were pretty much always 3-0s, and then the top 4 was kind of fun, but yeah, I don't think a full-on caster tournament's like great anymore. I think like caster show matches can be fun. Roddy does some of those on the big brain bouts, but yeah, actually like caster tournament and stuff. It's just not that fun anymore. I don't think it's been done a few times. Once you start reading, it's over. That's what I mean, right? Like, once I see it, I just start, and then I just gotta read it, you know? I can't help myself. You nearly failed out of Union 2002 playing Eve? Perfect! You can watch our sponsorship and get addicted again. Just what we want to do, destroy your life a second time. Perfect. A tough nut to crack. I just feel like if you're gonna say he's a nut, you just need a little bit more, like, you know, a little bit more to it, instead of just like, yeah, he's such a... It's like me saying, like, yeah, ShoWTimE, he's such an onion. People are like, what, he's an onion? They're like, yeah, there's so many layers to his defense. It's like, oh, right. You know, you know? If I can get shot off, Oracle going to get turned away. 2 more barracks coming up pretty quickly, so 2 more racks straight after the factory starport. Viking, Widowmine, into Raven. Raven, of course, very useful. We saw in the last game, just hitting that anti-armor missile alone is a huge deal, does so much. Reaper hops up into the main base. Adept going to come chase that Reaper around as the Reaper heads all the way into the main. Couple of probes coming through. ShoWTimE is such a banana because he's so slippery. See, yeah, you can't. You just gotta have the extra emphasis. You gotta say why he's a nut. That's all I'm saying. I'm just gonna refer to players as foods from now on. Viking just going to turn the Oracle away to the side. RoboBay coming up. Couple extra gateways coming through. Everything just setting up as we kind of expect from ShoWTimE, I think. You know, a couple Oracles. No single Phoenix this time, which we have seen before from him. As he gets that RoboBay, I guess we'll see if he wants to start investing into Phoenix at all, or if he is just happy to go Colossus Charge. A little worried about just the complete lack of any kind of drop defense. No Blink Stalkers. No Phoenix, right? None of the things that are usually pretty good at keeping you in a good position and stopping the Terran from controlling the game. There is the Raven, I believe, over here. No, it's actually a Viking that lands. And it's not going to do too great. It actually starts to fight the Stalker, which it could kill if it could chase it, but the chase doesn't happen. A Hellion at the same time. 2 probes in total here. Going to go back in for 3. Not bad. I think the Viking actually got 1 probe at first, and then the Hellion got 2 probes there, so... Either way, I mean, a little bit of damage to return from the SCVs lost to Oracles. That's Disruptors straight away from ShoWTimE. Wow, that's actually kind of fun as well. Disruptors in charge, though. It's like, you gotta be really careful, because if you're not, the Disruptors might fire up and, you know, blow up some Zealots. Disruptor charge feels like a very awkward combination you to use. We're also building our Phoenix, man. It's crazy. Now we're going Colossi. Okay, just a bit of everything from ShoWTimE. I wonder if the Disruptor's just like, hey, if I get the Disruptor first, it can really help me against this first push with the Terran. You know, really just ward him off and give me a bit of a better time defensively. I don't hate the idea there. As you do see, missile turret pushing the Oracles away just a little bit. Bio still lingering out on the front. Revelation going down one more time. Bio still taking some shots. Phoenix actually going to go after the medevac, which just about slips away over the side. Is going to go down, lifting up a couple of those marinas. And now our bio army going to come up through the center, so away we go, looking to really try and again make some plays. Our Phoenix going to turn back and round, move into the middle of the map as well. Again, just to disrupt out to the far right-hand side at the moment. Marines want to try and grab the Observer, but the Raven moves out the way. Well, Anti-armor missile is going to strike again. This time we use an interference matrix on the disruptor immediately. Widow mines do go off, but we now get a chance to clean those up. It's a little bit of a Marine Marauder getting pushed away. The Phoenix going to find the Raven now too, so if we get rid of that, Disruptor Shot will just turn onto the Widow Mine after not reaching the bio. It's obviously a pretty good improvement as well as our medevacs continue around. A couple more out in production. Seeing the barracks and the Widow Mines and the bio all still producing away here. And the blink is starting up as well on the side of ShoWTimE, so bringing that blink into play. +1 extended thermal lands all on the way out. Marines is coming through, and the Phoenix are just about able to get out of there. We're going to go stimming forward towards this base. Pylon goes down, the Nexus gets picked away at. A couple of Zealots continue to get shot away at. Widow Mines continue to go off. Zealots taking some damage. +1 and Blink still coming through, and just seeing that still coming up. A Ghost Academy also on the way in now. Just seeing our medevac and a couple of Marauders and Marines producing. For the Ghost Academy coming up, ShoWTimE enters this next phase of the game with EMPs. You know how powerful the Terran army can get. He is starting to split these armies up. Something we've said is going to happen in this match. We just sort of knew that that's how ShoWTimE plays. So splitting one army to the right, one army's on the top. He's soon going to have Ghosts in each of these armies as well, and ShoWTimE going to have to be very cautious about the EMPs. But obviously a much improved situation from last time. This time, last game, you know, ShoWTimE had been dead a couple minutes already. Gets the cancel on his 4th base too, so doesn't let that be killed, so maintaining a little bit of the money. Nice lift on the mine before it fires, and now just going to lift up some of the Marines, take some of the damage out of this army. Marauders on their own are not great, because obviously A, the Marauders can't shoot at the Phoenix, and the Marauders aren't great against the Zealots either, so the Phoenix will be able to chase here and not take any damage really, and they're just going to hunt down medevac, so it's a great call to lift up Marines in that fight rather than anything else, and we do get 2 out of the 4 medevacs. Maybe could have been 3 if you really wanted to go for it. I think you could have had it. Bio comes up the right side. You're actually going to have the rest of the army on the left still, so ShoWTimE, he's pretty quick to respond though. He's got everything pretty much in the same place. Medevacs are dropping again, and Kua is just not getting anything done with these attacks. ShoWTimE's defense is stalwart, and he really is just so good in these kind of games. I mean, you're kind of inviting yourself into trouble, really, when you play these kind of games against ShoWTimE, because ShoWTimE is so good at them in the first place. Extra round of Stalkers warping in, Disruptor coming up, +1 armor on the way through as well. Robo Facility, Forge, Nexus, all continuing to build. Our couple of additional pylons also on the way in. And our army of Kua just coming down the ramp to the front. Fire around the top. Phoenix going to turn away from that bio advance. And see now a couple extra Widow Mines and Marauders and Marines all still pouring out. A chance for Kua to maybe move forward here. Single Marine takes the lead. We lift up one of those Marines. Phoenix goes down immediately, however, on the return, so that bit of back and forth will not go too well. Prism all the way down to the south, and we do have our couple of Vikings, Disruptors. Just again, a little bit of everything already being brought out. I mean, Kua setting up to fight the Phoenix Colossus. ShoWTimE readying to go beyond the Colossi into more splash damage. That's obviously the whole point of the Disruptors. There's a lot going on right now here in this game. Number 2, ShoWTimE's down a map. It's the grand finals of the Kung Fu Cup. Lots of prize money on the line. $500 plus for first place. I can't remember what it is exactly. Is it $500 for first? I'll find out 1 second, guys. It's like $580, right? Yeah, oh, it's exactly $580. $580 for first place and second, $290. So double your prize money from $290 to $580 by winning this matchup. Best of 5. A big one, like I said, obviously biggest weekly cup we have. Kung Fu Cup. Also WTL points to qualify you into the Masters Coliseum later this year as well. Big fight to the top side. Army already pushing forward. Zealots charging through. Colossi and Disruptors chasing. The Nexus on the top does get to go down. Continues in. Phoenix will chase all the way over to the far left, and we'll jump onto some more of these medevacs as well. Gets rid of 1, getting rid of 2. I mean, Kua's army on the right side gonna have to come back over. Kua's really struggling with the medevac situation. Like, he just keeps losing them. And that's kind of an issue with splitting the army up like this. There's never enough, seemingly, to actually stop the Phoenix from kind of jumping on the medevacs in one location at the very least. And so far, that's been going a long way in the favor of, ShoWTimE. Oh, that disruptor shot! Oh, even with the split, it was still good. This one nearly hits some Zealots. You do dodge, and it hits more bio units instead. As both players remain maxed out here in Game 2. Vikings, Zealot, Stalkers, everything moving across the map at the moment. Just going to see a couple of Ghosts still coming up. Our bio units in production. The rest of our bio force getting set up as well. At CC in the front, just coming online. Bio around the left-hand side. Stalkers, Colossi going to go after this set of rocks. And just still seeing the army of Cure in the upper left. Going to start to make a bit of a play forward. Couple of these Phoenix already getting into perhaps a little bit of trouble as our Zealots will charge forward. Going to jump onto a bunch of this bio. EMP's going down. Disruptors and Colossi still coming through. A few Zealots are going to continue across as well. Stalkers just going to jump onto and kill off these medevacs. Great fight from ShoWTimE, it feels like. He's the one that's losing supply, but I think that's just Q is instantly rebuilding, whereas ShoWTimE is yet to kind of drop the big warp in that will bring him back up to maxed out. And maybe because he wants to wait to see where Q will be next. And Q dives up the right side, while ShoWTimE needs to go get a base himself here. I think entering a base trade scenario is not a bad thing for ShoWTimE right now. So I don't hate this because that's not a lot of units from Q on this other side. And obviously in this scenario, Q has a lot of units that are building in reproduction that should be beaten by what ShoWTimE has on this side of the map as well. So ShoWTimE should be able to get a lot done. Some favorable trades still. This is that Disruptor. Next Disruptor was so close to popping out. Not that it would have, I mean, if it popped out and the units were there, it wouldn't have mattered. DT forcing this scam. We're just going to slowly keep using these DTs as our Planetary will not hold on for long. So that goes down as well. And again, that big army of ShoWTimE is definitely a concern. Vikings in the main base going to go for the Dark Shrine. However, with these DTs killing the Vikings, then the Colossi are going to become a bigger issue further down the line. They're still going to be unanswered, essentially. So, go DTs. Again, doing a good job for ShoWTimE here. And we are cheering ShoWTimE on, because I kind of want to see this get leveled out. ShoWTimE's lost a lot of his work, because that's the difference in supply, or the biggest difference in supply right now. He's got a bit of money left over. Stims across, battery, couple of cannons starting to go down, and EMP onto a couple of these Dark Templar as well. So it goes down, the DTs get picked off. Now pushing up this Ram, Stalkers, Disruptors, Colossi, all moving through. The army of Q are going to go hide in the corner. It's going to have our extra few Zealots turning back onto the Ghost and the rest of the Bioforce. Disruptors just hunting around in the main base. This is what it's going to come down to. Again, army supplies over anything else. Q does have a 6 o'clock base that is mining. And he does still have, obviously, some SCVs in play. The biggest issue will turn out to be eventually, how many scans does he have? He's got 2 orbitals left in the game. He does have Ghosts to EMP with 3 of those Ghosts. All 4 of the Ghosts are in the main. So if he loses these Ghosts, DTs might just win the game straight out if the orbitals go down as well. ShoWTimE just picking his way through these structures, through these buildings for the moment, happy to just pick on through a bit of anything that comes in his way. Disruptor shots actually going to clip a few units. They're pretty much free kills because the Disruptor's on cooldown while no major fight is happening. And I mean, he was just bleeding stuff out. He wanted to bring the SCVs from the other side apparently. ShoWTimE will use the Disruptors to zone the Bioforce from coming forward here. Yeah, okay-ish shots. I mean, you're getting enough here. I think that this Protoss army will stand tall, will stand strong. 3 Colossi in the back still looking okay, kiting away. Obviously force the Terran to come down this choke point, force everything to naturally be worse against these Colossi lasers. Yeah, I like the positioning from ShoWTimE, and in the end, army supplies are pretty even, but a lot of it is in medevacs for Q, which is just not really going to cut it. Well, a couple of DTs now showing up too. Is there a turret over in that corner? There is a turret in that corner, so you gotta be a little careful with where the DTs go to. There are now no EMPs available. The Ghosts all died. There is still that one orbital, though, and I would say that we should probably prioritize... Oh, no, the DT's in range. Well, one of them in range of a turret. ShoWTimE does have 14 probes mining, by the way, so that's a big deal. I'd honestly be surprised... I'm surprised he didn't go after the orbital there, because if you get the orbital, the DT would have just been a GG moment. However, I guess you don't necessarily know that for sure. There's a couple of turrets. It wouldn't have been GG, but it would have zoned the Terran from certain areas 100%. Like I said, I guess it's tough to know that exactly. Wouldn't mind burrows here, maybe catch a probe that pops. It's that topside base that's the issue. ShoWTimE coming back into this main with a couple of Colossi and everything else. Orbital command is going to go down, and Phoenix, Colossi still moving through. Disrupt, Dark Shrine still up, so if you want to make more DTs, that is still a possibility as well. Oh, there's the Ghost dropping an EMP. It's got to do whatever it can. It's hiding in the corner, trying to use the turrets to his advantage. Obviously, the Phoenix and the Colossi neither want to run into turret range, so playing it slow, eventually going to evacuate this main base as Cure. Problem is, again, you've only had 2 SCVs this entire time. Now you have to start rebuilding a barracks if you want to rebuild anything, and it's going to be a major part of the issue as well, no doubt, as ShoWTimE just works his way through these main structures. I mean, he's got to be a little bit worried. Hey, why the hell aren't you leaving the game? He's got to be a bit concerned that Cure maybe has something somewhere, right? I would be. Like, why hasn't he left yet? Doesn't really make any sense, right? Not at all. One more Zealots warping in. They're going to actually charge forward, go grab a Widow Mine initially. Cure is going to GG out, I think, realizing there's a full base up here and that the Zealots protecting it. He knows that that's too much. And ShoWTimE ties the series up 1-1. Got a little bit intense, as you have in our bottom right corner, the blue Terran player. This is going to be Cure. 1-1, of course, in the match is in the top left. Our red Protoss player. It is ShoWTimE. Alright then, my friends, we have game number 3 here. Grezvan. Could actually be another long, kind of drawn out one. Let's see it. Probe. Getting chased around SCV, getting chased around a little bit as well, as we just have our Nexus and Cybercore coming up. Everyone getting established onto a base. Looks like we're going to have a bit of a nice macro opening. Nothing too weird. Kira is so fun as well in this matchup. Obviously, we saw him do the Marauder rush against Maxpax early, and I just wonder if that's going to be something we continue to see as we go into more games. Just like, you know, does he have any more tricks up his sleeve to take on someone like ShoWTimE? Has he already kind of used his tricks for the day? It's just always interesting to see... It's always just interesting to see ShoWTimE be a player who is... Oh, sorry, not ShoWTimE. It's also just a Cure who's always so creative with his builds, and he really is, like, so creative. It's always been very fun to see him come up with different ideas and all the rest of it. It's very cool. Very, very cool. Stargate coming up. We do have our Adept on the way. Repair moving back around. And again, Factory coming up. Racks coming through. Command Center finishing shortly. We're going to go around the left-hand side, hop up into the natural. The Adept is there to block the Reaper, stop it from moving through. And for the moment, the Reaper will not gain access. Again, not surprised to see the Stargate. We've seen Phoenix really be a crutch for ShoWTimE throughout this series. I guess not crutch is really a fair word. That feels like he needs to lean on them. It's just something that he chooses to lean on. It's just the choice he's been going for, and nothing wrong with that at all. Phoenix are one of the absolute best ways to play PvT. And I think against Kira especially, right, you know, being able to take control away from the Terran player, I think is something that actually has a pretty big net positive generally. Just taking that control away, being able to control the game yourself a lot. There's a lot of benefits to that. A lot of benefits to that. Oracle heading down to the south. It's going to head into the main in the next couple moments. Stimpak coming up, Cyclone on the way. And we do have the Cyclone locking straight onto and chasing that Oracle. What gets pushed out of there in the end? Again, Cyclone going to be finishing soon, and we do have our stim pack still about halfway done at the moment. Warp Gate is about to finish as well, and this time ShoWTimE, you know, one Oracle into straight Phoenix, so just a different way of playing these Phoenix, and I think that's very fun from him as well. It's not just the same build every time, it might be the same general concept and the same ideas, but he's doing it differently each and every game, and just keeping, you know, Cure a little bit on his toes. Obviously means he can adapt a little bit and be versatile. If he's something he sees from Cure he wants to change up because of, he's clearly comfortable with doing that. So, just really cool to see, because there's a lot of players in the past who've been like, oh, I love Phoenix Colossus, so I'm going to do the Phoenix Colossus build, and this is my one build I do to get into Phoenix Colossus play. And ShoWTimE, like I say, is just not doing that at all. He's changing up every game from more Phoenix to less Phoenix, RoboBay timing slightly differently. I'm just going to stim through here. We're going to knock down the sentry pretty quickly. Going to go after the Phoenix. The battery put in some work. The Immortal just not ready yet. Super battery probably could have done with being here a moment or two sooner. But it's a defense. We lose 5 probes pulling into that. And most importantly, I'd say we lose a couple of the Phoenix. So that's a little bit costly as well. Not counted as something you want to see going up through the game. It actually feels like he needs to build another Immortal, which is also going to be a little investment you don't necessarily want to be putting through at the moment. Combat shield, +1 attack, all of that still building up. Medivacs, Marauders, and Marines. Pouring out still from Cure, that just seems to be his plan. 3 racks, no 3rd CC yet. Has the money to start putting that down if he wants to. Looks like he's just going to keep on rallying units though and lining units up, so... not going to take the break to get the 3rd CC started or anything, just going to wait. Oracle just being annoying, stopping some gas mine, just interrupting what Cure is doing in general. There's the 3rd CC, on location as well from Cure, so very comfortable with that. If the Phoenix are being kept back at home, then you can get away with this, but if the Phoenix do get on the map, it's going to be annoying to finish that base. We'll probably take a few Marines to protect that position. So it's just one thing you've got to be a little careful about at the very least, of course. As our bio drops into the main, our Phoenix hanging around, Immortals coming into this main base as well. We'll see, having the full unload going off is a little painful. We're actually going to lose multiple Phoenix again. And the Phoenix lifting up a couple of Marines still have not continued to chase. And now we're going to see Cure dive into the natural. Well, there's a Colossus there that will help to deter the continuation into that base, but still not exactly in love with this position. Phoenix going to grab another Medivac. A bit of bio peels away over to the right-hand side. Bio going to grab that pylon right there too, and just seeing, well, this really is a controlling game from Cure. I mean, he's not going to let ShoWTimE get to a 3rd base easily, and to get so much done while ShoWTimE's defending on, you know, just 2 bases is kind of impressive in its own right. I actually think that's a really impressive statement, all said and done. As a couple of Marines get some more damage onto that Oracle, so Oracle taking hits. I got a second SCV picked off, continue to come on through here. Our Medivac's now loading up, and away we go. Phoenix can intercept those Medivacs. I mean, not in time. They were a little bit out of position, so the full drop is going to go off, and I just don't think ShoWTimE can deal with this. So much of this is meant to be about stopping it before it happens, and they're going to lose the side, of course. There goes more Stalker Warpins. I guess you could argue this is an awkward fight now from Cure, who doesn't have anything else going on at the same time. Splits from the mines to ShoWTimE. Phoenix kind of need to stay alive to make sure the Medivacs don't just lift and get out of there, no? I don't love that we let the Phoenix kind of fly through. I know it was only the difference of maybe having 3 versus 2 right now, but it just feels like then maybe you could have had a bit more on the Medivacs, but I also understand the need, or the, you know, the speed of kind of going towards the Medivacs ASAP and trying to start shutting them down already. Fire Force coming out the right side, pushing up the map. Just seeing more Protoss actually across the map from ShoWTimE. A lot heading through. Viking's going to get here straight away. Colossi already taking some shots. Prism going to start microing around. We're going to lose the Prism. Well, I don't love ShoWTimE being in the center, but I think he knows only on 2 bases. He has to try and make something happen. There's a reason he's out here. He doesn't think it's a great idea either. He just thinks it's the best situation he has, given the game state. I can't really disagree with that. I think that's actually a very good corner. Up 2-1. It is our blue. No, somehow in the top left. It is our blue Terran player. This is Pure. On the top left, that red Protoss. It's ShoWTimE. Up comes out, comes over to the corner. Excited for our 4th game where, you know, ShoWTimE just I feel like ShoWTimE's biggest weakness is just getting to that stage where he is the most comfortable, getting to that, you know, 10-minute marker alive. If he gets to the 10-minute marker alive, I really feel like we're going to have great games. Obviously, the one game we had that was at the 10-minute marker was great. So that's maybe a biased opinion, but, you know, like I say, that's why I think ShoWTimE excels. But Q is so good at stopping him getting there to begin with is obviously impressive as well. Like, being able to stop someone from getting to that sort of stage of the game so consistently. You know, when they're meant to be so good at getting there, because that's their best kind of goal, you know, in their best state of the game. Again, just shows how good Q has been lately, how impressive he's been when it comes to playing, again, just PvP in general, he's been so freaking good at. It's been pretty sick to watch. Next is going down. Cybercore coming up. Warp Gates soon to start. Obviously, we just got our CC going as well. All the standard openings coming up for the moment. As we go, go, go. Next is building up on the Natural. Pylon coming through. Probe back into the main to keep an eye on what's going on. Couple of Marines coming up, Rax, Command Center, all that coming through. Stargate building from ShoWTimE. Oh, extra Rax is going to be really fun. 3 Racks again. I mean, Q has shown us just how good he can be with the 3 Racks today against Max Packs. And again, ShoWTimE too, so let's see what we do. Both racks coming up. CC's about to finish, and just seeing our Marines pushing that Adept back into the center a little bit. Tech Lab still coming up, more Marines coming out. Marines will continue to push this Adept around for now. Oracle building from ShoWTimE. Not a single Twilight opener from him so far this series. Again, just absolutely in love with this Stargate setup, playing the Stargate in general. He's been so big about that. And obviously really sticking to that right now as well, as we do have our Marines continue to join up to the high ground. Combat Shield will start. Stimpack also on the way through. All of this coming in for the moment. Against Impact, Combat Shield, all the good stuff building for now. Just going to have our Oracle on the way. Warp Gate still coming through. A couple of gates are continuing to produce. And the Engineering Bay coming up as well here on the side of Kiosk. Again, that Engineering Bay up and running. Was about to pop out. We will see the Adept shading through this bottom side, so on the way across, getting ready to go. There goes Q. ShoWTimE. Definitely aware of units moving out. He's waited for these units to move out so he can get in with the Adepts as well. So they're going to try and do something. There's not a lot here, so gotta imagine that opportunity is open. Some units turn around. In fact, all the units turn around, so ShoWTimE buying time. Stasis has to be targeted initially to stop that from being a factor, stop reinforcements from coming from the high ground. I mean, obviously the adepts go down pretty quickly, but you buy yourself time. Is that time worth it? Because that was a lot of units that now won't fight against the 3-racks push. ShoWTimE's hiding in the third base, bottom corner, because he knows he can't defend a forward position. You know, one of the usual thirds, because this push is coming, but he obviously wants to get a third down, so he's going to try and hide it in the corner. I like the idea, but obviously it comes down to Cure figuring out what's going on or not. The belief of this working is that Cure is going to say, oh, hey, you're really scared of my 3-racks, so you're not expanding. That makes sense. Cool. I'm going to keep you on 2 bases for a while, and eventually it's going to click that it's like, oh, you weren't afraid of my 3... Well, you were afraid of my 3-racks, but you expanded somewhere else because of it, so... This could actually work out for ShoWTimE. It really comes down to how quickly you figure it out from Cure's point of view, I think. There's one Marine up here. I feel like right now, though, if this starts becoming more common, because Hero's been doing this a little bit as well, the more common this becomes, the more, as a Terran player, you just have to start saying, right, a Marine here, Marine there, let's get a little bit of scouting going and everything, just figure out what's going on. Just really check everywhere, just in case these kind of builds really do keep on coming through. Factory going to move across, land a reactor already, concussive shells on the way up, +1 attack is also on the way up right now. Upgrades that will continue to help the bio, and again, the longer that you don't... Yeah, he's realizing. The longer you don't see anything here from the Protoss player, the more you've got to think, well, what's going on? And now, yeah, you know that base is there. Well, guess what? Your Bioforce is going to start running that direction, and ShoWTimE has to find a defense, make sure he doesn't lose too much on that base, and probably keep this base alive. This is where I'm worried, because obviously now Q has been so good at being kind of multitasked and set up in multiple places. Finds the probes running away. He realizes that's the easiest thing for him to kill. The Nexus itself may take a little while. But yeah, gets himself 10 of the probes. And actually has a bunch of the units that will dive down the bottom left. Kills the pylon first. Can we get the Nexus here? Is that a realistic choice? Force fields could buy a bit of time. Guardian shield goes down. Marauders getting force fielded away. Marauders were a good chunkiness of that damage that was going on there. So losing out on those is a shame. Oh, it goes down to the last Marine. Nah, I mean, it's kind of weird because I'm not sure that Nexus really wants to come up anyways in a way. Like, well, it's not like you're going to necessarily use it again. Like, you know, Q is still going to just kind of, you know, focus on denying that location. But maybe you could have used it for a little bit still. Well, Q starts moving forward. ShoWTimE is now rebuilding a third base. And this is just not working out too prettily for him at all. It's getting kind of messy, honestly, for ShoWTimE, so not having a good time here. Orbital Command moving out down to the low ground. Couple Colossi still moving forward with the rest of these units. Away we go. ShoWTimE's just looking as though he's going to attack. He's going to eat. Actually, quite nasty, wouldn't mind. Splashes a Colossus, too. Army supplies are similar here. Does Q have the tech to fight the Colossi, I guess is what this comes down to. Not really. He only has one or two Vikings, but there's also only 2 Colossi, so maybe that splash isn't so serious. SCVs are going to start pulling with this. Q is going to have a few units from the other side at the same time. Obviously, he knows how serious this is, so he wants to fight with everything at once. However, the force fields are going to stop that from happening. Uh-oh. Q just kind of let ShoWTimE walk up into the natural. That is not going to fly. It's going to make this very difficult, as now Q takes a long time to figure this out. A couple of Vikings poking on some Phoenix. Force field's coming down again. Vikings continue to do a lot and just slowly chipping through Phoenix. Even the Colossi taking some hits. As the Phoenix go down, obviously, I mean, we're also starting to run out of Sentry energy, and obviously now it's kind of awkward because ShoWTimE is still stuck in this corner. He doesn't really have anywhere to go to. We're going to try and recall out. I'm kind of surprised Q, he just lifted up a bunch of units, but I feel like the units in the underneath the orbital absolutely could have made a bit of a dive forward and maybe done something a little extra. Q loses 27 SCVs, but he does have a good army to move across the map with. ShoWTimE actually preserved both Colossi. I mean, that's impressive, because if it wasn't for that, he actually probably would just be dead already. Damn. It's actually kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy. Colossi firing up. It's going to start pushing through. Disruptor shot down the ramp. Boom for a little bit of the Bioforce. We are going to be seeing... well, I mean, Q still has about 30 army supply lead. The big thing is he's got the Vikings that are uncontested. There's no anti-S. These Vikings can just go through the Colossi and remove the biggest threat of all. from the Protoss, and ShoWTimE is going to tap GG's. He knows he doesn't have the units that he needs to stay in this, and Kira is back-to-back Kung Fu Cup champion. He looks so good right now. Again, continues to just be one of the absolute best